Breaking news. I think it's going to shock you. Epping Forest has turned into a war zone this week, and the reason is a betrayal so deep it's written on a hotel sign. This all exploded after reports of multiple alleged sexual assaults by a newly arrived migrant, who denies the allegation, of course, and the community watching the asylum seekers getting too close. 60 meters. That is the distance between a local high school and the Bell Hotel. The building now cleared by the court to keep housing asylum seekers. The ruling was read at 2 p.m., and by sunset, the patience of the people had run dry. 4 months, 9 hearings, 1 broken promise. Epping no longer needs Westminster's permission to be angry. On a day meant to honor sacrifice, the poppy became a symbol of betrayal. You cannot rule those who have stopped believing in you. Inside Parliament, the rulers began to speak. The Home Secretary was confronted directly. We have a tinderbox situation in Epping. We have the Bell Hotel with alleged sexual and physical assaults and now twice weekly major protests. The MP's voice cracked with fury. Appallingly, last week the government successfully appealed against the injunction on the hotel, prioritizing the rights of illegal migrants over the rights and indeed safety of the people of Epping. The Home Secretary did not answer. She looked down, shuffled her notes, and simply turned the page. No apology. No security update. No plan. Silence. Minutes later, the Treasury log confirmed £4.3 million redirected from local NHS and education budgets to fund temporary accommodation for asylum operations. That was the only answer Epping received, and the last one it was willing to accept. Outside, sirens echoed through the town. Inside, the rulers turned another page. By midday, Epping was no longer calm. The high street moved like a tide. Silent at first, then unified. No chants. No banners. Only faces turned toward the Bell Hotel. The air was heavy, thick with anger and smoke. Police lines formed across the car park, helmets down, shields up. A woman shouted, "Save our kids!" And hundreds answered. At 1:17 p.m., the first glass broke. A bottle arced through the air. A flare followed. Within minutes, barriers fell. Officers advanced shoulder to shoulder. The crowd pushed back. Flags slammed against riot shields. Traffic froze on Epping High Road. The sound was chaos contained by inches. Boots. Shouts. Glass. A few thousand turned to tens of thousands. Then the street stopped belonging to the government. Reinforcements rolled in from Chelmsford. Smoke grenades hit near the junction. Drone footage captured the moment formation lines folding. Discipline cracking in daylight. By 2:10 p.m., dispersal orders echoed through loudspeakers. Dozens detained. Several officers injured. The Home Office called it public tension under review. But everyone watching knew what it was. Not a protest. Not yet a riot. The moment when trust collapsed and the people remembered who they were. By nightfall, estimates put the crowd at over 100,000 across Essex. A wave no order could contain. The government called for calm, but calm never came. Every statement sounds like static. Every promise like a warning. By morning, Essex heard no chants, only sirens and wind through empty streets. 4 schools stayed closed. 2 hospitals ran below half capacity. Order had returned in form, not in spirit. Officials confirmed 127 arrests, 19 officers injured, and £3.8 million in public damage across Epping and Chelmsford. Ministers still spoke of unity while budgets for nurses and teachers were quietly drained. The phrase temporary accommodation clung to fences wrapped in police tape, a slogan painted over broken glass. At noon, police stood motionless beside debris. Protesters returned, fewer but harder in their silence. Passers-by paused, not in fear, but recognition. No chants. No violence. Just faces that no longer believed what they were told. The government can deploy law, but not legitimacy. Respect is earned, not ordered. And when faith is gone, authority becomes noise. Morning came. Downing Street said nothing. No minister. No plan. A press officer read a line that sounded pre-written for failure. Order has been restored. In Epping, the only thing restored was disbelief. Local councils demanded an inquiry, with dates, not platitudes. The Home Office replied, "We acted within the law." Laws written without listening do not repair trust. Police unions accused ministers of strategic neglect. MPs blamed misinformation. The footage did not. It showed smoke, fear, and a limit reached. By afternoon, a memo labeled sensitive, civil unrest response leaked. One instruction stood out: prioritize control optics over narrative drift. In one sentence, the problem was exposed. Cameras mattered more than citizens. At 6 p.m., major networks replayed the same 12 seconds. Cut before chance. Blur before faces. Reality edited into reassurance. Epping asked a simple question and received a strategy deck. No names took responsibility. No timeline for change. Just phrases that die on contact with real life, lessons learned. Cross-government coordination. Community resilience. Silence is not neutral. It chooses the side with power. Inside Whitehall, panic became paperwork. The Prime Minister demanded reports by close of business. Departments sent blame instead. Home Office to regional enforcement. Treasury to local mismanagement. Justice to capacity constraints. Nobody to themselves. At 11:40 a.m., a classified file surfaced online, Containment Metrics, Epping Operation. It showed forecasts approved 3 days earlier. Expected turnout, police posture, communications plan. One line measured: cost tolerance, acceptable public damage under £5 million. Citizens as variables. Trust as wastage. Emails followed. An advisor wrote, but public reaction is emotional, not systemic. Reply: emotion is manageable with message discipline. Another: do not concede policy error. By afternoon, staffers were suspected, not foreign agents. Security badges were frozen. Lawyers drafted warnings. The building turned inward while the country looked out. That night, a statement appeared. We condemn unauthorized disclosures. No mention of what was disclosed. Only the betrayal of leaking, not the betrayal of governing. Power fears sunlight more than crowds. Crowds disperse. Sunlight does not. By morning, clips vanished under copyright strikes. Accounts posting Epping footage went dark. Appeals stalled. Timestamps did not. Broadcasters aired packages that looked antiseptic. Calm streets. Long lenses. Official quotes. The story was smoothed until it lost its edges. Outside a newsroom in Manchester, reporters held up blank placards. A message without words said more than any headline. Within an hour, those images also disappeared. At noon, a journalist asked the Home Office, why are verified clips being removed? Answer: for national cohesion. 2 words that now mean silence by design. Hashtags rotated. Epping protests thinned. Community safety rose. And algorithms learned which words to trust. None of them were the public's. Censorship today does not shout. It tidies. It files. It optimizes until truth underperforms. 2 days later, candles became crowds in Colchester, Basildon, Southend. Vigil first. Barricades later. No leaders. Only momentum. Government briefings blamed coordinated facades. Locals blamed coordinated neglect. In Edinburgh and Cardiff, committees demanded control over housing and security. Belfast issued a sentence that cut deeper than protest. We warned you. The Union looked fragile, not on maps, but in memory. London spoke of shared values. Towns asked when values last shared a budget. Markets watched. Tourism fell another 14%. Bookings evaporated in hours, not weeks. The pound dipped for reasons spreadsheets cannot price. Meaning what failed in Epping was not policing. It was consent. And consent cannot be requisitioned. It must be renewed. On Epping High Street, a handwritten note went up on a cafe window. No sides, no cycles, just decency. By midday, signatures crowded the glass. Locals. Migrants. Off-duty officers. The queue formed. Not for protest, but for a pen. A retired driver said, we want safety without being split first. No camera framed the line. The town did. Stores copied the notice. Churches pinned it to doors. Children traced it in chalk outside schools. By evening, the county wore the same sentence. We clean what politics dirties. No fund. No leader. Only example. Power issues orders. People issue standards. One compels. The other convinces. Only one lasts. Weeks later, headlines moved on. The question did not. What kind of state asks for loyalty after forgetting duty? Britain is not choosing between parties. It is choosing between memory and denial. Epping was never the story. It was the mirror. In it, a country saw itself. Bruised. Divided. But still capable of decency. If you value reporting that resists noise and refuses hate, subscribe to UK Pancakes. Share this with someone who thinks silence is order. This channel stands for peace, lawful dialogue, and dignity for all communities. Change is not built by rage. It is built by remembering who we owe and what we owe each other. Thank you for watching.